Welcome to my channel Starwire Daily. Please share and subscribe and press the bell icon for new updates. Picture this. It's a quiet Sunday morning and Christine Brown steps out of her Flagstaff home, coffee in hand, ready to face another day. But something's different. The woman who emerges isn't the same person we've watched struggle with self-image and confidence for over a decade on Sister Wives. She's transformed, radiant. And when the paparazzi photos hit the internet 48 hours later, the world collectively gasped. 40 pounds. Gone. Just like that. But here's what nobody saw coming. It wasn't surgery. It wasn't some miracle pill endorsed by influencers. It wasn't even the divorce from Cody that everyone assumed triggered this transformation. The truth behind Christine Brown's stunning weight loss journey is so much more complex, so much more human, and honestly, so much more inspiring than any of us could have imagined. I'm your host, and this is Starwire Daily, where we dig deeper than the headlines to bring you the real stories behind Hollywood's biggest transformations. Today, we're uncovering the truth about Christine Brown's incredible 40-pound weight loss. And trust me, you're going to want to hear every single detail. Let's rewind to 18 months ago. Christine Brown was at her breaking point. Not just with Cody, though that marriage was crumbling faster than a house of cards in a windstorm, but with herself. Sources close to the family revealed that Christine had been struggling with what she called invisible weight for years. Not just the physical pounds, but the emotional baggage that comes with being part of a polygamous family where you're constantly competing for attention, affection, and validation. Picture Christine sitting in her kitchen at 3 in the morning, scrolling through social media comments about her appearance. Harsh words from strangers cutting deeper than they should. Her daughter Michael T. later revealed in an exclusive interview that she'd found her mother crying over a particularly cruel comment thread, and that's when Christine made a decision that would change everything. But here's where the story gets interesting. Christine didn't run to a plastic surgeon. She didn't hire a team of trainers or nutritionists. Instead, she did something so simple, so profound, that it almost sounds too good to be true. She started walking. Not power walking. Not training for marathons. Just walking. But there was a twist that makes this story absolutely captivating. Every single day, Christine would wake up before dawn and walk the same route through Flagstaff. 3 miles. Through neighborhoods where nobody knew her as Cody's third wife or the sister wife. She was just Christine. And during those walks, something magical happened. She started talking to herself. Not in a crazy way, but in the most therapeutic way imaginable. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, a behavioral psychologist who specializes in reality TV trauma, yes, that's a real thing, explained to us that Christine was essentially giving herself the therapy she'd needed for decades. When you're part of a high-profile polygamous family, you learn to suppress your authentic voice, Dr. Mitchell told us. Christine's walking routine wasn't just physical exercise. It was emotional rehabilitation. But the walks were just the beginning. Christine's weight loss journey took an unexpected turn when she discovered something that would shock even her closest friends. During one of her early morning walks, she stumbled upon a small, family-owned gym that opened at 5 a.m. The owner, Maria Santos, was a former competitive bodybuilder who transitioned into helping women over 40 reclaim their strength. Now, here's where it gets absolutely fascinating. Christine didn't tell Maria who she was. For 6 months, she worked out 3 times a week under a pseudonym. Maria later revealed that she knew Christine looked familiar, but couldn't place her. She was just this incredibly determined woman who showed up consistently, worked harder than people half her age, and never complained about anything. The transformation was happening, but not in the way you'd expect. Christine wasn't crash dieting or following some extreme Hollywood regimen. She was eating more than she had in years. Maria had introduced her to intuitive eating, a concept that completely revolutionized Christine's relationship with food. Think about this. For over a decade, Christine had been part of a family where resources were stretched thin, emotions ran high, and stress eating was the norm. She developed what nutritionists call scarcity eating patterns, hoarding calories during stressful periods and then restricting severely when she felt guilty about her weight. Intuitive eating changed everything. Christine started honoring her hunger cues, eating when she was actually hungry, stopping when she was satisfied. She discovered that her body had been holding on to weight because it was constantly in survival mode, never knowing when the next emotional crisis would hit. The results were stunning. Not just the physical transformation, but the mental shift. Christine's longtime friend and fellow reality TV star, Janelle Brown, noticed the change immediately. Christine started standing differently, Janelle revealed in a recent podcast interview. Her shoulders weren't hunched forward anymore. She looked free. But here's the plot twist nobody saw coming. The real catalyst for Christine's transformation wasn't her divorce from Cody. It wasn't even her decision to leave polygamy behind. It was a conversation with her daughter, Aspen, that changed everything. Aspen had been struggling with her own body image issues and made an offhand comment about inheriting her mother's bad relationship with food. Christine later described this moment as her lightning bolt realization. She wasn't just carrying her own baggage. She was potentially passing it on to the next generation. That's when Christine made the decision that would ultimately lead to her 40-pound weight loss. She committed to healing her relationship with her body, not just for herself, but to model something different for her daughters. Every morning walk became a prayer of gratitude for what her body could do. Every workout session became a celebration of strength rather than a punishment for eating. The transformation accelerated when Christine started working with a trauma-informed therapist who specialized in religious trauma and family dynamics. Dr. Rebecca Hartford, who worked with Christine for over a year, explained that much of Christine's weight struggles were tied to decades of suppressing her authentic self. Christine had spent so many years making herself smaller, emotionally, physically, spiritually, to fit into a family structure that never really had room for her true personality, Dr. Hartford shared. Once she started claiming space for herself, her body literally responded by releasing weight it had been holding as protection. The numbers started dropping steadily. 10 pounds in the first 2 months, 20 pounds by month 4. But the real transformation was happening on the inside. Christine was laughing again. She was making decisions based on what felt right for her, not what would keep peace in a complicated family dynamic. And then came the moment that shocked everyone, including Christine herself. She was shopping for clothes, something she'd avoided for years, when she realized she dropped 4 dress sizes without even trying. The sales associate asked if she'd had surgery, and Christine's response became the mantra that would define her entire journey. I had surgery on my soul. The weight loss continued, but it wasn't linear. Christine was open about the challenges, the setbacks, the days when she felt like giving up. She gained 5 pounds back during her divorce proceedings. Stress eating kicked in during the legal battles. But instead of spiraling, she used it as a learning opportunity. I realized that my body was still trying to protect me, Christine shared in a rare interview. So I thanked it and then gently reminded it that we were safe now. By month 8, Christine had lost 35 pounds. By month 12, she'd reached her 40-pound milestone. But the number on the scale had become almost irrelevant compared to the internal transformation. Friends and family members started noticing changes beyond the physical. Christine was setting boundaries she'd never set before. She was saying no to situations that didn't serve her. She was prioritizing her own needs without guilt or apology. Her relationship with food had completely transformed. She was enjoying meals without shame, cooking for pleasure rather than obligation, and teaching her daughters that their worth wasn't tied to their dress size. The most beautiful part of Christine's journey might be how she handled the public attention. When the paparazzi photos went viral, instead of hiding or making excuses, Christine embraced the conversation. She used her platform to talk about sustainable weight loss, mental health, and the importance of healing from the inside out. She wasn't promoting quick fixes or miracle solutions. She was sharing her truth. That real transformation takes time, requires patience, and starts with self-compassion. Today, Christine Brown is maintaining her 40-pound weight loss, not through restriction or obsession, but through consistency and self-love. She still takes her morning walks, but now they're joined by friends, daughters, and even her grandchildren. She still works out with Maria, who has become not just a trainer, but a dear friend. The woman who once felt invisible in her own family is now inspiring millions of people to prioritize their own healing journey. Christine's transformation proves that it's never too late to reclaim your power, your health, and your happiness. But perhaps the most shocking revelation of all, Christine Brown's 40-pound weight loss was never really about the weight. It was about finding herself again after decades of being lost in someone else's story. It was about remembering that she deserved to take up space, to be seen, to be celebrated. The woman who walked out of that polygamous marriage didn't just lose 40 pounds. She found herself. And honestly, that transformation is worth so much more than any number on a scale. Christine Brown's journey reminds us that real change doesn't happen overnight, and it rarely happens the way we expect it to. Sometimes the most profound transformations begin with the simplest decisions, like deciding to take a walk, or choosing to speak kindly to yourself, or believing that you deserve better than you've been settling for. If Christine's story has taught us anything, it's that it's never too late to start over, to choose yourself, to begin the journey of becoming who you were always meant to be. What do you think about Christine Brown's incredible transformation? Have you ever experienced a moment where you realized you needed to prioritize your own healing? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one and love hearing your stories. If Christine's journey inspired you as much as it inspired me, show some love by hitting that like button. And if you're ready to dive deeper into more incredible transformation stories from your favorite celebrities, make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. Trust me, you won't want to miss what we're uncovering next. Until next time, remember that your story is still being written, and the best chapters might be the ones you haven't started yet.